Truth is, I'm tired. Options are few. I'm trying to pray, but good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to the Operation Who on Charge channel where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot motherfucking topics. Listen. Oh, good evening, good evening, good evening. I told y'all I was coming back. I told y'all I was coming back. I told y'all I was coming back. And we got some things to get into. We got some things to get into. So give me a few seconds. Let the folks drag their little stinking behinds in here. We got some things to get into. Oh my God. You know what's crazy is how 1 minute I could be here prepping and run my mouth with y'all about some good news, and then in the same breath, you like, oh Lord, look what happened. Truth is, I'm done. Mm-mm-mm-mm. No, but we're going to get into it today. Because I seen a few things that I was like, what? What is going on here? But you know, what's going on here is what goes on. Is what goes the one. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, please, as you enter the motherfucking chat, hit the motherfucking thumbs up. Do your biggest one because the other day we had to talk the fuck about our reality shows. I think I forgot to talk about Married to Medicine with y'all, but at this point, I ain't got to talk about that shit right now because truth is I'm down. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Wait a minute, I forgot that. Truth is, I was tired. And I keep telling myself I'm trying to watch this reality show that Melissa put me the Ray J show, Love Cabin, or something like that on Zeus. But why I keep forgetting to watch the damn show? I tell myself every doggone day I'm gonna watch the show and forget to watch the show. What the hell is that? So in any event, oh, it got a little warm in here. Welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Hearts channel where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot motherfucking topics. We got to get the ball rolling, ladies and gentlemen. First, before we go any further, we want to send out some condolences. I want to send out some condolences. It is beyond horrific to lose family members around the holiday season. I don't care what the reason is. I don't care how it happened. When you lose your family members around the holiday season, it really, really breaks you in a way that can't be explained. So first off, I want to send condolences to one of my subscribers and one of my coworkers, Jeff. You know, he lost his mom after a long and hard battle. You know, she fought a good fight, but he lost his mom. Actually a day after the 20th anniversary of my dad's death. Oh, knock on wood, not my mom. The 20th anniversary of my dad's death. So the 20th anniversary of my dad's death was Saturday, which was December 13th, and he lost his mom Sunday, December 14th. So I want to definitely send out my condolences to my colleague Jeff, and keeping his family uplifted in prayer. Also, I want to send out condolences to Angela Yee because she reported today that she lost her brother suddenly to an aneurysm. And from what I'm gathering, it seems like that is her only sibling. And that really made me sad because I was like, oh God, you know, first of all, I want to say something about when you lose a sibling, it is mortifying. It is mortifying. Hey, Olinda, yes, prayers up for Brother Jeff. Prayers up for Brother Jeff. To bury a freaking family member around the holiday season, it can break you in a different way. It can break you in a different way. So, again, prayers up for Jeff. Prayers up for Angela Yee. And once again, losing a sibling. So, I want to let you guys hear some of the things that she said in regards to that loss. Give me a sec. Wow. Unexpectedly, out of
sorts right now. My brother passed away unexpectedly from an aneurysm. So just a few things I wanted to talk about of what I learned during this process. Because he's the closest person to me. He's my only brother. What happened is he's very active in our group text, like our family chat every day. He's a person that if you call him, he's going to answer. If you text him, he answers right back. And so for a day, he wasn't responding. And so my mother felt like something was off. So she has the keys to his house. So she went over there. And, he was on the floor. So after that, she called the police. And so here's some things that during this process I learned, because the fire department came, EMT came. Wow. Then they were supposed to contact the police department to come, but something happened and I guess they didn't. There was also an accident nearby in the neighborhood, so it was taking a while for anyone to come, but they did. And then we had to wait for the medical examiner to come. Now, because he was home alone and when he fell, he hit his face. So he did have like a bruise and he had a bump on his head. They had to make sure that it wasn't a homicide. Right. Which means that everybody has to leave the area. And then until they examine the body, you're not allowed to go back in. Wow. So, that all happened. They examined him, and that's when we found out it was an aneurysm. He had been saying he had really bad headaches a couple of days before, that they were so bad he had to take 3 Advil. He was laying down. And so Coach Jessie, who works with me a lot, she also recently had an aneurysm and was in the hospital. And when you feel like pain like that and it feels out of the ordinary, it is important to see a doctor. Right. Because, again...
Okay. Okay. Wow. You guys know I'm an advocate for listening to your body. So much so that it made me a hypochondriac. So you heard what she just said about her brother saying he had bad migraines. And once again, you guys know I am an advocate for listening to your body. It has saved my life a number of times. So that's so sad to hear. Once again, we're going to send prayers up to my coworker, Jeff. We're going to send prayers up for Angela Yee's family. May God guide them through the journey, because it is very, very, very unfortunate and heartbreaking to lose family members around the holiday season. And it's hard to lose them at all. But during this time of the year, make sure grief come on a little bit stronger. At least I know for me. In any event, we got to switch gears. So after we sent our prayers up, we got to get on with the get on, because we have some things on the docket we need to discuss. So I wanted to bring up Mariah the scientist. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I am a full-fledged advocate of women getting their happily ever after. Like, I'm very much invested in women getting their happily ever after. Would I want anything happily ever after with Young Thug? Absolutely not. Oh, y'all have to see. I have a new absolutely not. Oh, it's so dramatic. I wish I could share it here. But anywho, I wouldn't want anything with Young Thug, but it seems as though Mariah the scientist loved him. She held him down, and she's getting her happily ever after. But for whatever reason, it seems like folks are not happy about Mariah getting her happily ever after. And that kind of shocks me, because I assumed that everybody was like proud of her for staying down with him through all his trials and tribulations. And it seems like she's being rewarded because of all of the hard work and effort she put in. So who wouldn't want that? So I seen a YouTuber. No, she's not a YouTuber. She's a content creator, rather. She doesn't necessarily do it on YouTube, but I seen her speaking about it. Her name is New York Nay. And I see her speak on different topics. Right now she's beefing with Tony Vanity, but Tokyo Vanity. I'm sorry. But she has some feedback also about the Mariah the scientist situation. So let's see what she had to say. Maybe I'll get a better understanding, or maybe you guys can help me out.
And I would hope this is a sick joke. Just a sick, cruel ass joke, a misunderstanding at best. I would hope and pray. And you know what? I just feel like all the women celebrities are pissing me the fuck off. Y'all all jumping out the window. Is everything okay? At home? Blink twice if you need some fucking help. Cause.
Oh no, you know what? My mistake, my bad. I'm sorry, y'all. She's saying this because Young Thug said he put a baby in her. So maybe that's why she thought, no, that's not. No, I seen folks who were unhappy about her being pregnant. And I mean, not her being pregnant, about her getting engaged. And I was like, why? I thought that was a good thing. But okay, so they have Mariah's react. No, not Mariah's reaction. I wanted to see fans' reaction to Young Thug. Okay, here's somebody here discussing it.
Because it ain't no motherfucking science behind Mariah the stupidest. Because it ain't no motherfucking science behind the dumbass decisions you be making, bitch.
She said Mariah the
I'm starting to think
stupidest.
that you don't listen to your own music, bitch. That little dusty ass, booger ass, dick in a booty ass nigga. Just had your motherfucking ass stressed out about 3 motherfucking weeks ago. You was on stage looking sicker than a motherfucker, like you couldn't eat, sleep, or shit. You mean to tell me he gets on stage and proposes to you? You gonna tell that nigga, yeah, when he got 50 damn motherfucking kids? And on top of that, you talking about having one, bitch? Your looks is not strong enough to get them nigga jeans out the way, bitch.
Oh.
Have you seen his kids? I ain't gonna call no kids ugly. But have you seen the gremlins? He already got a daughter that be biting through motherfucking chairs and shit with them caps. You seen the motherfucking caps? You need to get with Peach and try to figure out what's the secret recipe to cook the motherfucking 18 slabs of ribs, bitch. On behalf of the Scorpio committee, we have all come together to agree to revoke your head. Ain't no motherfucking way, girl. Ain't no way.
Oh, so all right. I see what's going on here. Okay. It seems like the issue here.
Mariah, the scientist, congratulations are in order. But first, leave that ring and that man at home. Oh. I need you to step into my office. Oh. First on the docket, don't have a baby. Look at his baby mamas. Would you ever want to switch lives with them? And I don't mean when you made him a better father because you started dating him. What was he like before? Because that's what your future could be like. Don't have a baby. Second on the docket, I think you should do a song with Cardi B. One, the girls would live. It would be amazing. Everybody's going to go up for it. I'd love to see the fashions because both of y'all dress really well. But also, and Cardi B has already walked this path. She's been there with the engagement. She's been there with the cheating man that said he would change and then you hope things would get better. She's also been there with the marriage and the family. So even if you do decide, if I'm marrying my man, y'all hoes just jealous and I held him down, so I'm going to see it through. Even if you do that, she could also tell you, okay, cool, marry him, but make sure you have this in your prenup. Marry him, but make sure you have this as a custody agreement. Marry him, but make sure he can't move a bitch into y'all's home and then try to make you pay for the home. Like, Cardi has already walked this road, so she could tell you what it's like. She could also tell you if one day you decide you want to make a different choice, she could also tell you how to leave. Another person who could tell you how to leave, Megan Thee Stallion. I would love to see y'all collaborate because I know the song would eat, the girls would live, but also Megan could tell you, hey, when you are ready, because you're not seeing the things that you deserve, this is how you can go.
Oh, okay.
I just feel like instead of everybody just cussing you out, it's time to have people around you that if you do decide to make another choice, because let's be real, it's easier to leave as an ex-wife than it is to leave as a baby mama. But if you are either or both, you can always make a different choice. Congratulations, girl. Bye.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So I think I have an understanding now. First of all, I didn't follow Mariah the Scientist and Young Thug's relationship, so I don't know much about it. From what it sounds like, Young Thug might not be shit. Okay, I didn't know that. And on top of that, they're saying it may only be that you're keeping the baby because you may possibly be pregnant, aka expecting. And he already has a shitload of kids. The other day on live, I talked about Portia. I watched BravoCon. And on BravoCon, a woman stood up in the audience and she said, "Oh, Portia, I know you're back on the dating scene. Me too. I just came out of a relationship. Do you have any advice for me on the dating scene?" And one of the things that Portia said was, she was like, pay attention to the red flags. She was like, because a lot of times we try to make those flags orange and yellow and purple and all these other things to go around them, and they eventually come back to bite us in the ass. And Cynthia even said on the side, she said, yes, and make sure you bust a move when you see them. Don't hesitate. Don't pretend. No. Bust a motherfucking move. Because once again, you'll be dealing with that in the future when you've seen it from the beginning. Am I an advocate for paying attention to the red flags? 100%. 100%. I'm also an advocate for knowing that people can change, but also knowing that most times and oftentimes, depending on where they are in their life, they won't. So I can't say what Young Thug is going to do because I don't know enough about what he's done already. So I honestly can't speak on it. I just was under the impression that Mariah held it down, and this was a reward for being a good woman. You know, now I beg to question: is there a reward for being a good woman? Me personally, I'm gonna propose that question to my viewing audience, but I'm gonna say for myself, yes, I 100% believe it's in a reward. 100% believe it's a reward. I just believe that you receive that reward from God. You may not receive that reward from who you've been good to. So if Young Thug is not the ideal man as a result of all of the effort and energy that Mariah put in, there is an ideal man out there, right? It just doesn't have to be him. But if it is him and he has really changed and he wants to really, really, really be the best that he can be for Mariah, I advocate that they work it out. I really, really do. I would like to see them make it if he's serious about doing what he needs to do. Because from the sound of everybody else, it seems like you've been fucking up in the past, Young Thug. And for what you're doing, and even from some of the latest interviews that I've heard, you made it seem like you place value on her. So I had assumed that you and her were in a good place and you had fucked up in the past, but it seemed like it was like, nah, you ain't shit. You ain't shit according to other folks. You ain't shit. So that's why it's not many people that's happy for you guys being together. Oh, that makes me sad, but that also makes me aware that that can happen. When you see a good guy or you see a good girl being good to a person and you see that person treating them poorly, you do get defensive and you do have a reaction towards it because that good person doesn't deserve that. So I understand everybody else's reaction regarding Mariah the Scientist. Mariah, this is what I'll say if you ever hear it, right? I hope you get your happily ever after, even if it's not with Young Thug. Because if you are genuinely the good girl that everybody is proclaiming you to be and professing you to be, you deserve to be happy. And I want that for you. So wherever your happily ever after is, my girl, I pray, pray, pray from one woman to the next that you receive it in abundance. All right, moving right along. Trigger, motherfucking Trey. I don't even want to discuss Trey. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't even gonna front. I even gonna lie. Dance it, you want. Get cracking it, you lie. I don't even want to discuss Trey because God, please forgive me. Please forgive me because I know that I'm going to get crucified about this, but I was windmilling for Trey. I was windmilling for Trey. This is how I look at it, right? I've heard a lot of stories about situations, right? Me personally, I always say the same thing. I was not there. I do not know, right? But when the proof comes down the pike, like case in point, when we seen Diddy dog walking to Molly Wop and Cassie, is no way to not know what happened. You seen it in the flesh, right? So for me, I'm sorry to tell you guys, and I don't want to re-victimize anybody or victimize anybody or make anybody feel like I'm undermining them because that's not the case. But I'm going to stick to my stance and I'm never coming on. I'm going to die on that hill. I was not there. I do not know. Right? The only way for me to know is when proof is provided. So when folks, let's just say somebody come out and said they were essayed or they were physically abusing, I don't tell them they lying. I just ask them to not put me in a position to have to advocate for something that I did not see because I do not know. I was not there. I do not know. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying I was not there. I do not know. You know? But when proof is provided and I can see for myself, then I can make the proper assessment. So, like I said for Trigga Trey, I'm not saying these folks is lying on Trigga Trey. I'm just saying that Trigga Trey ain't got arrested yet. So I was trying to like low key windmill for him because I had an idea of what I thought was going on, right? Trigga Trey is my cousin Noodles man. So I don't be stepping on my family toes, so I wasn't going, bother that situation. But I'm feeling what Trigga Trey got going on. Like again, R&B thug. Like I again, for me personally, right? Um, strength and assertiveness in a man it's definitely a turn on for me because I one of the things that I require is protection. So I will always need to know that I'm in a situation or a relationship with a man that can protect me, right? So if I already see your assertiveness and low key your aggressiveness, and not necessarily towards me, but just the fact that you have that in you, that's definitely a turn on because I know that you can protect me if anything ever takes place, right? So what I saw that from the drunk with Sugar Trey, right? That he has that like, yeah, I'm singing and yeah, we laughing, but don't fucking play with me. Okay, what they can't do, Trigga? Like, what? Who can't do what trick? Like, you probably up. You have to pay attention. So, what I assumed was that he may not know how to turn that on and off. So that may show up in areas that don't represent him well. But I also thought low key that Trigga Trey had pretty privilege, which means that you also think that you can be assertive and low key aggressive with women because that would turn them on because you're so handsome. That was my assumption. Again, I'm going to go on record as saying, I am not there. I do not know. So I'm not vouching for this man. This was all my assumption from assessing little things and hearing little stories. Because every time I heard a story about Trigga Trey, it would more so be like, he made me feel uncomfortable because he got really close to me, or he was talking like through his teeth, or the way he unbuttoned my shirt. But it was never really anything particularly done to be like, yeah, arrest him. So I was like, are we? Is he just being too aggressive because he think he got pretty privilege, or is he really, really doing something to these women? Because it's a difference there, right? But anywho, that's my little world we live in it, right? What I do know is ever since Trigga Trey has these accusations have been made against Trigga Trey, it seems as though you are always showing your aggression in other areas and not being able to turn it down. Like case in point, the new story that's popping off right now. So let's look into what happened. Right? And every time he get arrested, I'm like, Trigga motherfucking Trey. Like, I low key kind of wish I was his homegirl to be like, yo, my nigga, you don't listen. You making a poor choice right now. But again, I don't know if you necessarily know how to turn that on and off because it's who you are, right? So let's see. Let's see. All I'm doing is all right. So there is a few young ladies who have come out and shared that Trigga Trey has been aggressive towards them, whether it was throwing a phone down, whether it was kicking them out after he hit it, whether it was putting his D with a P. It just was a lot of things, right? Once again, I'm not sure if these things are enough to well watch. So it says, y'all feel her. Winter Blanco says people should believe Trey Songz's accusers. Also claims that there could be more, but they're too afraid to speak out. So let's see what she's saying. All right, hold on. All I'm doing is waiting for the Netflix documentary. It's coming. Trey Songz's situation is so disheartening to me. Why does it take so many people for y'all to believe women? Do y'all hate women so bad that everybody got to be lying on this man? Nobody is lying on this man. If anything, more people are too afraid to come forward about this man. This man should not even be able to be out and about on the streets, running around, roaming around, like at all. But I have questions about this. I have questions about once again, like I'm not gonna lie. Hold on, y'all. I'm not gonna lie though, it's a little annoying when people keep saying things like, "Oh, nobody believes us and nobody wants." It's not that you're not believed. We're just trying to figure out if what this person did requires them to get arrested because it was illegal or was it immoral? Because that's another thing that we're dealing with. That's the whole battle too that I see people fighting with, and I want folks to know I am definitely in favor of what's immoral because again it still doesn't make you feel good. It's still not a good thing. But we have to be clear on what's illegal and what's immoral. Yeah, him treating you bad and kicking you out after he hitting it fucking on your ass and doing his weird shit to you, that's dead ass fucking wrong. But is that illegal for him to do? Right? If he untied your halter top at a party, of course that was not appropriate for him to do, but was that illegal? So I think that's where folks are feeling away because it's like, we're not saying that he was right for doing those things. We're just saying, what the fuck are we supposed to do when he does them? Right? So, anywho, there is things that he's getting in trouble for, though, that he's actually doing that's breaking the law. Which is one of the things was he just got in trouble at a nightclub the other day or last week or something like that because he on his bullshit. So let's see if this is it.
Heard good news about Trey Songz. Well, if you're looking to hear some good news, this is the
hold on. Sorry, y'all.
Time you heard good news. When was the last time you heard good news about Trey Songz? Well, if you're looking to hear some good news, this is the wrong place and the wrong time because I have bad news about Trey Songz. He was arrested for allegedly punching a nightclub worker. Needlessly irate R&B singer Trey Songz arrested after allegedly punching New York City nightclub worker. R&B singer Trey Songz was busted for punching a Manhattan nightclub employee in the face in a tantrum over being told the spot was closing, prosecutors said Sunday. The 41-year-old singer, whose real name is Tremaine Alden Neverson, was partying with his crew at Times Square spot Drama.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was closing time at around 4:25 a.m. on December 4th, sparking him to become needlessly irate, prosecutors said in Manhattan criminal court. At 41 years old, why do you want to be in the club that bad?
Oh.
Because I'm not even close to 41, and I just want to be at home, in the house, not in the club at 4:30 in the morning. Neverson appeared in court Sunday as he was arraigned on an assault charge for the club clash and an additional charge of mischief in the second-degree charge from an unrelated incident that same morning at Mira, a restaurant and hookah lounge in Manhattan. Trey Songz, what is allegedly going on? We're just on a wild rampage through New York City. That early morning incident saw the slow-motion singer allegedly break around $1,500 worth of restaurant property, including hookahs, DJ equipment, and sofas, according to the complaint against him. How old is...
All right, so this is my thing, right? What they just said Trey Songz did is, again, is assault, is vandalizing. These things are illegal. So yes, now we can arrest your ass and you can be arraigned in court and we can do what we need to do. But I think a lot of times for these women, they're saying things and saying, well, you should arrest him because he unbuttoned my shirt. Yes, he did very aggressively, but is that illegal? And I'm not saying it's not immoral, and I'm also not saying it's right for him to do, right? But what do you want us to do? Like, if that's the case, we'd be going to fucking around arresting everybody that's staring at you. Like, we have to find that fine line and that balance, right? And of course, no one wants to wait until it gets to that point. Absolutely not, right? But at the same token, I also can assume that it will get there, right? So I'll give you an example of what I mean, right? That's just like working in the school system, right? A young person can say, yo, I had a motherfucking fight. It's turned up. This shit gonna get shot up, right? So now that puts you on high alert. You're like, oh my God, you made a threat. You need to go, right? Naturally, when you make the threat, we have to take it seriously because you actually made the threat. So you can get suspended for a certain amount of time, right? But the pushback is that threat was made, but you don't know if it will actually happen. So because of that, you can't kick the kid out of the school. So you will have another person say like, oh, that kid needs to be kicked out because how dare they say that? They might do it. Get it? You see that word you put in between might? That might, that's where it ties our hands. Because I can say to a parent, oh, because your son said that, we think he might do it. And the parent is looking at me saying, you think he might? Bitch, talk to me when it get done. And that's fair. That's fair to say because you can't assume what the fuck my kid gonna do. You can make an assumption of the words that he said, but it's still what? An assumption. An assumption. So we can't run with that. So that's the same thing with Trey Songz. It's like everything he's done with these women is immoral. It's aggressive. It's dead ass wrong and on a moral compass. But if you asking about if it's illegal, it can't be because his ass would have been locked up a long time ago. Whereas with Diddy, we physically seen him assault Cassie. We watched it. They put out the footage where you see him stomping and kick. That's assault. That's illegal. You can be arrested, right? And that is why a lot of his charges was dropped because all of that shit was immoral. You putting fucking cum on your nipples and like fucking weird, bro. But it's not illegal. It's just immoral. So that's what I'm saying about Trigger Trey. Like, we have to figure this out. If y'all want the man arrested, y'all got to get him on some illegal shit that he did, not no immoral shit that he did. Because everybody has a different moral compass. I'm sorry to say, but that is the truth. While I would not like a man to get in my face and yell and scream and pop buttons on my shirt and talk crazy to me, I also can't say that he sexually assaulted me. It's not the same. Right. But again, it's a lot of nuances there. We got to figure them out in some way. Trigger Trey, what your ass don't need to be doing is going to no clubs, no nightclubs, and getting mad because they closing early and breaking up shit, because your aggression needs to be addressed. And that's the issue. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Whether we can get Trigger Trey on anything illegally, you need anger management, because it seems as though you are so spoiled and think you can always get your way that when you don't, we see this angry and aggressive side of you that won't fucking stop. And one thing I learned about men with money and power, oh, they are diabolical. They are diabolical. I want no motherfucking problems with men with ego, money, and power. I don't even want to be around them. I don't even want to be around them. Mm-mm. They are nasty work. One thing about men with ego, money, and power, they are nasty work. And to add on to it, Trey Songz has the he has the bravado, he has the looks. So imagine all of that on top of ego, money, and power. That makes you nasty work, Trigger Trey. Cut your fuck shit. But in all fairness, what comes up must go down. Let me say that again. What comes up must go down. So if you are out here doing fuck shit to women, it's gonna come back to you, baby. And y'all all could use Diddy as an example. In any event, let's move on to see what else we have on the late at six motherfucking docket. Ah, Trey, I'm disappointed in you. The girls are fighting. 50 is windmilling with the Let's Rap About It podcast. I've never personally listened to, like, I've never listened to a whole episode of the Let's Rap About It podcast when my ex used to listen to it. So I've heard snippets. I none of those men. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not impressed by any of those men. Yeah, okay. Anywho, it's Mano, Fab, Jim Jones, and Dave East. They're all on the Let's Rap About It podcast. And again, okay, girl. So 50 is beefing with them because he's only beefing with the podcast because he's beefing initially started with Jimmy. And what I heard happen, and I could be wrong, you guys let me know. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Before we get into that, I want to get into Mano ran into Troy Ave and Vegas at the fight. Hold on. I'm gonna play the audio that I have here, and then I want to say something about what Troy Ave did that I was not featuring. Troy. Okay, wait. We won't see. See, that's why I wish that I could share my screen with y'all. Because if you see, it's Troy Ave, it's Mano. Mano was passing Troy Ave and he stopped him and he go to talk to him. But Troy Ave has his new baby in his hands, right? So, and I'm not gonna lie, the way Mano is talking to Troy Ave, it looks very confident, very cool. But I'm not gonna lie, Troy Ave, I'm a little disappointed in you because once I would have seen that motherfucker, I would have passed my motherfucking baby off. We've been talking a lot of shit to each other, my nigga. It's up. It's up. What's up? So to see them do this exchange, and I'm gonna see if I could drop the link in the chat. Like, but you see Troy Ave, you see Mano about to pass him, then he stopped. He whispered something in Troy Ave ear. You don't know he was whispering. Look like he's saying something about the baby. Then Troy Ave leaned in and say what? And then Mano, when he leaned in, Mano kind of grabbed his arm, let him know like it ain't like that. They talk. They do a little like handshake, and then Mano keep it moving. Troy Ave, you better than the fuck me. You better than the fuck me. Because once I would have seen that motherfucker coming, I would put my motherfucking baby down. What's up? What's up, Chano? So I've been calling you Chano. What's up? So this exchange was a little disheartening. And not because I want black men to beef, but y'all been talking so hot and so spicy about each other that I thought it was going down on the DM. But I guess not. So back to what I was telling y'all about the Let's Rap About It podcast and 50. So apparently it must have been some discussion on the Let's Rap About It podcast about 50's documentary on Diddy. And what I'm assuming, which I'm gonna go try to look up right now, happened was because 50 didn't like whatever the feedback that they said on Let's Rap About It podcast, which I'm probably gonna have the same feedback as them, but we're gonna see that he said, "Oh wait, y'all motherfuckers think y'all gonna sit in the podcast studio and discuss something I did that y'all didn't like. Let me see what's going on." So he started telling them, "Listen, I can own that whole podcast studio and own that podcast if I want to." And he reached out to the podcast studio. He found out that it's just drama. It's just drama. Let me see if I can show y'all. It is just drama. 50 don't stop. 50 don't stop. I'm sorry. I'm God, please forgive me. I think 50 going to suffer a horrible fate. God, please forgive me for saying that. But the amount of work he put in to be this fucked up, I don't think God is pleased. But I'm going to mind my business. I'm going to mind my business. Let me find for y'all what happened, though. Let me find for y'all what happened. Because it's too much. It's too much energy into being again, mm-mm. I'm not here for it. But let's see. Let's see right now. Hold on 1 second. It's crazy. It's nasty work. Like, come on. It's enough. It's enough. All right. So what happened at first was, let me see if I can get it right here. Hold on. No, stop.
May have just in the long, illustrious history of Curtis 50 Cent Jackson beefing and trolling with other rappers, he may have just painted his greatest masterpiece yet. 50's latest rivalry is with Jim Jones. Now, for my audience, whites, Jim Jones is from the Dipset crew. He used to be boys with Cameron. His biggest hit is Ballin', and he's got a bunch of features and very popular in the fashion world. Now, 50 and Jim Jones have been going at it for years, primarily because G-Unit and Dipset used to butt heads. However, once 50 squashed the beef with Cameron, all of the trolling and hate is primarily directed at Jim Jones. They've taken shots at each other on records. They talk shit about each other in interviews. 50 Cent has called Jim Jones an informant and a rat. And the latest round of beef has come about because of the Diddy documentary, which 50 Cent executive produced. So Jim defends Diddy and says that 50 is kicking a man when he's down. 50 fires back and says, "Oh yeah, well Diddy played with your butt and I don't care." Well, from there, we're off to the races with talking shit. And here's where 50 comes over the top with a masterstroke pause. 50 said that he's looking into buying the building that Jim Jones operates his podcast out of. And in doing his due diligence, has discovered that he might be able to purchase 50% of Jim's own show. 50 posted a voicemail from the landlord who owns the building and says that he owns a piece of the media from Jim Jones' podcast, saying that they haven't paid their rent, and if 50 buys the podcast, he'll throw in his ownership of the Let's Rap About It pod. He also has a partnership agreement where half of what he's building now, his media, belongs to us. But he won't tell us how much he's making and doing all these things. So half of the content he's creating, if you want to buy that too, I'll sell you half the company. He's not a business. He's like insane. To me, it's worth very little to nothing. But if it's not for you, I just throw that in as a sweetener. But, so what I'm trying to say is he signed a lease with me. Right now he owes, I'm going to say in a short way, at least 80,000, if not 180,000. Imagine you get into beef with somebody and they buy you? One day you're taking shots on Instagram, the next day he's your boss and the landlord? Who knows if this deal actually goes through and comes to fruition, but the fact that Diddy actually took the steps to look into this, is speaking to landlords, discussing business terms, posting the voicemail, he's the king, he's the GOAT. From his early days with How to Rob, to all of his Ja Rule beef, allegedly buying up the first few rows of the Ja Rule concert, to now the Diddy documentary, I think that potentially purchasing Jim Jones' show and building from right under his nose might be the greatest 50 Cent troll move of all time. He's simply too petty and too smart and too good at this. He cannot be defeated. He's a logistical nightmare. He does his homework. He does his due diligence. He's too funny. He's too rich. He's too successful, too popular, too big. He cannot be stopped. Just don't.
Yeah, this is nasty. This is nasty. You know what it is too, and not only do folks believe it, but they see it in the flesh, so you have to. You know, money makes the world go round. So that was nasty to throw your money around knowing that you have more money than all of those folks on that platform, right? And the only reason that you're doing so is because, and take it away from Jim, right? Because it's not only Jim's podcast. The real reason, of course, you don't fuck with Jim. We know that, right? But the other reason is that because they disagreed with you doing the Diddy documentary and yada, 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 right? I've sat and I've listened to folks discuss the situation. Hey, Nick Nack. And, again, my stance is going to be, right? I never said Diddy was right. I also said that there's a slew of other men that are not right. So to solely focus on R. Kelly and Sean Diddy Combs, and Bill Cosby because they are the black men who are not right. It really, really bothers me because not so much light and shine is put on because even with, I won't go there. I won't go there because then that's how you go down the rabbit hole. I'm not getting caught in a rabbit hole. Like I said, it is what it is. Whatever happened, happened. 50. I mean, I guess I wouldn't. I'm not a 50 fan. Like the way that it's being going about it. Nah, I'm not here for it. I'm not. And according to him, the whole beef is because he ain't like it's just corny. To me, it's just corny. But it is what it is, and he have the bread to entertain the corn bullshit. So we gotta let him do what he do. Anywho, I'm trying to think of what else was on my docket that I wanted to talk to y'all about. Oh. One of the things I want to talk to y'all about was back in the Fab Lane. So I don't know if you guys are watching. Back in the days, Kimora had a show. Kimora Lee Simmons had a show, and it was Life in the Fab Lane, right? So Kimora has resurfaced, and now she has Back in the Fab Lane. And I'm watching the show, right? And I like it. I like it. I like it. It's so crazy. The two daughters, Ming and Aoki, is Leo and Aquarius. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I have a lot of connections with Leos. Like my boss is a Leo. A lot of my coworkers were Leo. So I always have connections with Nikki is a Leo that just come in the chat knick-knack. So I have a lot of connections with Leos. I like the Leo and Aquarius dynamic, right? When it's good. So it was crazy because I'm watching the episodes and I remember Ming and Aoki. Anything after Ming and Aoki, I know she had a baby with the actor, the black guy. I didn't pay, I'm not gonna lie, I ain't paying no attention to after Ming and Aoki, the Aquarius and the Leo, right? Well, honey, it seems as though everybody's grown. It's a lot of other kids in the house. I like Kimora. Kimora seems like a good mom. And Kimora, you crafty. I believe that that's why you did all that arguing with Russell online. And that's why, because y'all knew your reality show was coming out. But anywho, I enjoyed watching the show. It's just that, come here, Kimora and Russ. We gotta clarify some things. Child, Kimora Ming is every bit of Kimora, and Aoki is every bit of Uncle Rush. Y'all had to see these fucking kids. Y'all had to see they started arguing. Aoki is every bit of Uncle Rush, child. Every bit of Uncle Rush. When I tell you that's Uncle Rush, child, that is Uncle Rush, child. That is Uncle Rush. Child. She's every bit of Russell Simmons. And Ming is every bit of Aoki. And that's what pissed me off about not being able to share my screen on the iPad because I wanted y'all to see if you even see them. Aoki even had the list like Russell. Like, it was so crazy. So at one point in the show, Ming was in Bali. I mean, sorry, Aoki was in Bali, aka with a pappy, not the 85-year-old man. So she was in Bali. So the Simmons was pissed off because they was like, first of all, you jumped up and went to Bali. And then when you jumped up and went to Bali, you ain't let nobody know. You didn't keep in contact with nobody. You didn't do shit. So they all off her. You can obviously see that, right? So she's coming back all happy go lucky because she give me, she ha ha ha, or she low, 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 right? She a nut, right? So she's coming like, hey guys, I'm back. And they all like, okay, girl. So the little brothers is like, okay, you back. Good to see you. So Ming is the same. So now she goes to try to have a conversation with Ming, and Ming is like, girl, what happened? What's up? But they try to square the things away. Next thing you know, Ming says to her, because you look real healthy. Child, why the fuck did Ming say that? Aoki was like, sorry, healthy means fat in this family. And you saw the crash out. That was a real Russell Simmons crash the fuck out. She crashed out. I was like, and Ming kept saying no. Even the brothers was like, no. It's just like you're taking your minerals and your vitamins. Absolutely not. She said, in this family, I'm a former model, bitch. Healthy means fat. You trying to call me fat. And I'm looking at Aoki like, sweetie, we just watched you take the pictures for the baby fat. You look absolutely gorgeous. What's your problem? Crashed out. Crashed out. And I feel so bad for Kimura because you know what it looks like. You ever had, God forgive me, right? And I see this a lot of time in parenting dynamics, right? You know how like the other person who you made a baby with, whether it was your husband, wife, or just somebody you met on the street. Number one, if you're used to dealing with their traits, right? So you like, okay, let's just say I'll use myself, right? Let's just say me being a woman and I made a baby with a man and he was a thief, right? Let's say that, right? It would be like, okay, I know he's a thief. It's exhausting. He wants to steal. This shit is aggravating. But then those traits get passed down to your kid. So now I'm off you. I'm not dealing with you no more because I know you're a thief. I'm done with you. But now I got to deal with my own flesh and blood stealing just like their own flesh and blood. And I don't want to fucking deal with this shit because this ain't my motherfucking shit. So you like, So you could tell that Kimura is so exhausted. Number one, with her girls fighting. But on top of them fighting, she exhausted about the way that Aoki responds to things because you respond just like your fucking pappy, and that's why I left his ass because he's a fucking nut, and bitch, you a nut too. But in all fairness, I like Aoki. Even with her being a nut, I like her. I like her, but what we not gonna do is disregard the fact that girl, she is every bit of Uncle Rush. She is every bit of Uncle Rush. I was like, Aoki, Aoki, what the fuck you talk about? But again, just like her pappy, just like her pappy, just like her fucking pappy. She even have the lisp like him. So Kimura is there like, oh, okay. And like I said, the example I just gave, it's like you finally got rid of that spouse that was a thief and you done with them, but then you see it showing up in your kid and you know your kid is half of them. So you mortified. You mortified. You like the fuck? I don't want this. This is not for me. I'm not here for this. And why, Lord? But things happen. Things happen. So, in any event, ladies and gentlemen, I love it at six. I love it. I'm trying to think if it's anything I forgot. We talked about Mariah. We talked about Trigga Trey. We talked about Chano and Troy Ave. We talked about Aoki and her teeing up. We got all our things out. As I told you, I was coming back. I was going to run down to y'all the Married to Medicine hoop blah blah. It's not needed, right? It's not needed. You guys know what happened on Married to Medicine, and what they saying is that ultimately Simone did all that big teeth yelling and shit, and then the little boy still got a car. He got a new Tesla, and they trying to figure out what they're gonna do for law school. Yeah, okay, Simone, you made the you made them demons. You made them demons, bitch. So don't try to act like you mad about them. Auntie Simone, I love you, but I don't want to hear no complaining about them. It was something else I wanted to ask you about. Krishan, they said Krishan got the blue face tattoo melted off her face. Y'all saw that? Child, I don't believe nothing that Krishan say or do. So even if she did get the tattoo melted off her face, I don't really care because I don't got Krishan to think about. I'm sorry, she gets on my fucking nerves. So and from the looks of things, it seems as though she's trying to, move forward and get over Blueface. I believe if Blueface calls tomorrow with a check, Krishan getting tattooed again. So for me personally, I'm gonna do about that. Hey, Daya girl. But that's really it. I've been watching I watched on the Kardashians on Hulu. I watched the trial. She went to the trial with the robbery in Paris. That was good. That was good. I ain't bothering me your sister day. I just can't. I just can't. I just cannot and will not. I just can't. I just can't. But in any event, I promise you guys are live. If you're here part of the replay gang, I want you to go back and look at all the replay. I mean, go back, rewind, and replay this video and drop your comments. Drop your comments in the comment section. I want you guys to all be able to participate in the fun. And I told y'all I was coming back. I told y'all I was coming back. It's the holiday season. We keeping folks uplifted in prayer because it's a lot going on in these streets. I love, 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 love you guys. The weekend is coming up. Make sure you enjoy your weekend. Be safe and get all your shopping out the way. Christmas is upon us. Holiday season is upon us. And we have to pray for folks going through some tumultuous, hard, and grieving times. Love, love, love you all. And stay tuned. Bye bye.